All right, the larger the wedding, the faster the divorce. And I'm not just saying this. In a 2014 study from Emory University, they basically discovered that couples that spend over 20 grand on a wedding divorce at 1.6 times the average rate of those that spend less than 20 grand. And it's what's also interesting about the study is actually the less money that's spent, the longer the marriage lasts, like down to like $1,000, right? Now, maybe it's because these people are getting married when they're super young and they're broke and they're like, hey, we're going to get married for love. So that is one thing. There's lots of shows about bridezillas, right? I will share my story. So I was married before. I decided to create this channel because I've been single now 2 years, divorced, and we were married for 20 years. I learned a lot. And I've also learned a lot about dating and what to do, what not to do, mistakes, same thing with the marriage. And I was like, shit, man, I have endless content to cover if I were to create a YouTube channel about marriage and about being single. So I learned a lot of things during the marriage, and I have no regrets. There does reach a time where if you're not aligned and on various things, you need to step away. And it is a very honorable thing to stay with someone and try to make it work and show commitment and not just throw in the fucking towel so quickly. And I've had comments, you know, it kind of stirs me up a little bit. I've had some comments on the channel and people are like, oh, well, you're a beta for sticking around for 20 years, or, oh, well, now you're divorced. I'm like, yeah, you motherfuckers. You probably haven't been married before yourself, or you have a shitty marriage, or you've been divorced after 2 years, okay? I would say, in my experience, only about 5% of men that I've met that have been married more than 15 years. Kudos to you, by the way, if you have a great marriage. And you've been married for longer than 15 years and it's a great marriage, fantastic. Good for you. That's very rare. I would say 5%. 95% of the men I've met that have been married for married for at least 15 years have basically sexless marriages, miserable marriages. They become beta males, they become simps, and the wife fucking just takes over their life and runs the show. So it's better to leave instead of being this beta that eventually happens to most men. Rich Cooper from Entrepreneurs in Cars on YouTube, he said this many times, betatization through 1,000 concessions. It's all these little things that you eventually concede that makes you a beta, okay? And I wasn't a beta in the relationship, but there were certain things that eventually came to a head, and that was my career. That was a huge, huge thing for me. My ex-wife didn't want to move anywhere. And eventually I get this dream job, which I still have now, and she didn't want to move. And I was like, that's it. That's it. And so that's basically what broke it. So back to the whole weddings thing. I was 29 when I got married, and we didn't have any money. We were both broke. So we spent maybe $10,000 on the wedding, and we were together for 20 years. So great. So this is actually perfect, this study, and I'm just looking at my notes. This study is actually reflective of what was my experience. However, this is the catch. What the study isn't showing is how many of those marriages are actually happy. Are they having sex on a regular basis? Is she allowing you to be the leader in the relationship? All these things. So about 3 to 4 years after the marriage, so 3 to 4 years into the marriage, she says to me how disappointed she was with the small ring, because I didn't have that much money, the fact that she borrowed a wedding dress because we were trying to save money. We didn't have a real cake. Cakes could be thousands of dollars. We rented a cake, brought the cake to the back room, cut it up, the slabs of Costco, and gave that to people. Nobody noticed. So we were trying to cut corners all over the place, and my parents covered most of that 10,000. So 3 to 4 years into the marriage, she's disappointed and she's sharing this stuff, and it broke my heart. Like, it literally, like, guys, you're trying to do a good thing and you marry her, right? Very few men want to marry, let alone propose. It's scary. But I wanted to marry this girl. So I didn't have any money. I was like, look, I don't want to wait. Like so many of these situations, these guys are like, well, we need to save money. They're engaged, right? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They're still saving money for this dream wedding. And yet I was like, look, I don't want to be like those guys. I want to marry you and make a decent woman out of you like now. So we were engaged and we got married 2 months later. So not that I don't have any children, so it's not like that was something. But I just wanted to just marry her. So 3 to 4 years later, she's disappointed. She's telling me, and it broke my heart, like literally. And I told her, I'm like, why you were not just grateful and happy that a man wanted to marry you? And she's like, well, I had lots of options. Like, so this is the thing, man. This is the thing. Now that I'm single, I'm like, oh, I, I will have many conversations with somebody before I get married again, if I get married again. And you know what? I was just thinking, if I were to remarry, I can't keep this YouTube channel. Like, what am I going to call it now? Right? It's all about the bachelorhood, right? so, so guys, don't spend all this money on a wedding, because the study has said the more you spend, the shorter the marriage. You spend less money, you're going to be married longer, but she's still going to be disappointed. You can't fucking win. You can't win with women. You just can't. It's like nothing satisfies them, right? It's laughable. It really is. It's like, okay, this guy wants to marry you, you know, can't get you that big fat ring that you want, can't get you that, but you're marrying for love, and yet they don't want love, and yet he's got all this money, and that they don't want to stay married now. It's like, that's why, man, I'm going to leave you with this. That's why, do not make the woman a priority in your life. Don't, because she's not happy anyways. You can't make her happy. They're hypergamous anyways. They're always looking for the best option. There's always 1 foot out the door anyways. By the way, 70% of divorces are filed by women. Like, fuck. Like, you just can't win. So stop making women a priority in your life. Make you the priority. Your career, your physical health, get to the gym, your friends, your hobbies. She's like fifth in the priorities. And you know what? You might think, oh, it's kind of coming across a little harsh. No, they love that. Every woman loves that. Since I've been dating, and I've dated beautiful women. They love the fact you're not making them a priority. They want you even more. And they love the fact you're not clingy, you're not desperate, you're not creepy, because you got all this other stuff that you're busy with. For example, at the time of me recording this video right now, I connected with somebody. I use dating apps sometimes. So I connected with her today. And she's like, hey, I'm going to text you. And I said, okay, sure. But I won't get back to you probably for a couple hours because I'm recording some videos. And she's been texting me as I'm recording this. I see the text come in, and I told her straight up, I'm like, no, I'm getting back to you in like 2 hours. So stop making them a priority, and they're never going to be happy anyways. So hope you liked the video. Drop a comment. We'll see you next time.